What is job design? Jobs exist within organizations. So imagine, for example, a company that makes furniture. They have some tasks to do. For example, they need to saw the planks for the chairs, subsequently need to assemble all the planks into chairs, and then need to do some painting. Just imagine that this company not only makes chairs, but also cupboards for which they need to do the sewing, the assembling, and the painting. Now, the organization has some choices they need to make in order to organize all these tasks into particular processes, hence combine particular tasks and allocate them to particular jobs. How would you do that? Well, on one hand, the company can choose to make a department in which the sewing, assembling, and painting of the chairs gets done, and another department which makes the cupboards. On the other hand, the company can choose to make a department in which the sewing gets done, the furniture gets assembled, and another department that takes care of the painting. It may not come as a surprise that the way in which tasks are organized leads to different jobs. In which company would you like to work? The one that has the chairs and the cupboards, or the one that has a department for sewing, assembling, and painting? Which job would you pick and why? Jobs are considered cornerstones of organizations. This is why HR practitioners have a long tradition of looking at jobs. They look at jobs from a very specific angle. They will see which tasks people have to do, which responsibilities they need to take, and which duties they have. This all goes into job descriptions, and this is typically what you see in vacancies. Another thing that you see in vacancies is what people need to have in order to be able to perform the jobs. Which knowledge, skills, and abilities do they need to have? And the comparison of what people need to bring to the job and what they need to do is considered job analysis. Job analysis then drives a whole lot of other processes in organizations. For example, it determines how many people are employed in a job, how much training they receive, how much they get paid. When jobs are simple, such as when someone just needs to do the painting, this requires less training than when a person also needs to know everything about sewing and assembling within a furniture company. And who gets a bonus and who is evaluated based on the quality of the chairs. But jobs not only have implications for how organizations work, but also have important implications for how employees function, so how they feel, think, and what they need to do. Within the field of occupational health and safety, jobs are seen as important drivers of employee well-being. Whether or not people are engaged, feel well, have stress, or even burnout depends on how well their jobs are designed. Within the field of occupational health and safety, and more specifically the Belgian law of 1996, which considered the importance of jobs for employees' well-being, 5 different factors are considered important to determine how good jobs are, how good of quality they are. When you want to know whether jobs are high quality or workable or werkbaar in Dutch, we need to consider their work environment. Is it not too cold, not too hot, not too cold, not too dark? Is it safe? And how much are people rewarded for their work? Do they get a decent wage, enough holidays? Do they get extras such as health insurance, a car? And what about the relations at work? Relations among colleagues, supervisors, but also labor relations, so the relations with the unions. And how is the content of the job? Is there a lot of work to do? Can employees make some decisions themselves? And finally, we need to consider how work is organized. How is the culture, the structure in the organizations? How do the processes work? And how is leadership? All these things need to be taken into account to assess the quality of jobs and hence make predictions about the well-being of employees. It may come as no surprise that the research on job design has become a field in and of itself. In 2017, Sharon Parker and her colleagues wrote an article on how job design and the study thereof has changed over the course of the years. And here, very specifically, it was a celebration of the 100th birthday of Journal of Applied Psychology, one of the most important journals for work psychology. And so they described how job design changed from working in a factory to working with robots. And they also described how our insights in what works best in terms of job design was changed. The way we have looked at jobs has changed over the course of the years. While in the 1990s we thought that jobs were simply the aggregations of tasks assigned to a worker, we broadened our scope and then included not only tasks but also other activities, relationships, and responsibilities. To date, we even go further and think that job design is dynamic. It is defined as a study, the creation and modification of the composition, content, structure, and environment within jobs and roles are enacted. We thus assume that jobs are not just static, but dynamic and can change. They are created, but also enacted, such that employees can change their own job design. Because job design is currently defined as so broad, we also talk about work design rather than just the job in and of itself or the content in and of itself. Within this course, these two words, however, will be used interchangeably. There are many different views on what makes a good job. We can take into account the biology of people and design jobs such that people don't need to do a lot of, for example, heavy lifting, so that they have ergonomic seats, etc. We can also take into account their perceptual motor functions and make sure that they can easily have access to the right information, don't need to be cognitively drained too much, that the workplace is mapped out conveniently, and so on and so forth. Or we consider good work as efficient as possible, such that people become part of a machine and don't need to learn too much, but instead become highly specialized. Or we can make work motivational and take care how we can give people energy through the way jobs are designed, and be careful about how much demands they find in their jobs, which refers to workload, role problems, etc. It may come as no surprise that motivational job design is quite antagonistic to mechanistic job design. Over the years, quite a diverse set of job design models have been formulated, each with their own characteristics and added value. In the following, we will study these models more deeply.